The palace is facing questions after the Princess of Wales's Mother's Day image was withdrawn by 3 prominent photo agencies over concerns it had been manipulated.
This was the image shared by Catherine yesterday, taken by William. It's the first time she's been seen since undergoing abdominal surgery, but there appears to be a glitch on the left arm of Princess Charlotte, prompting the picture agencies, this is sort of unheard of, to withdraw the image in line with their regulations over manipulated imagery.
Well, there's only one person to talk to about this morning, and that is Sarah Hewson, TalkTV's royal editor. This is unprecedented, isn't it, for 3 news agencies, photo agencies, to withdraw these photos?
Yeah, and I think this is a PR disaster as it stands for the palace, because it started off yesterday morning with a lovely photo released of Catherine with the 3 children to mark Mother's Day. It was designed, clearly, to try and silence the conspiracy theorists whose voices have been growing ever louder over recent weeks. Instead, it's fuelled them and thrust them into the mainstream. And just look at the Telegraph front page, normally so supportive of the royal family. And their headline, photo from palace was doctored, say agencies. 4 agencies, highly respected.
4, not 3.
4 now.
4.
Highly respected picture agencies, news agencies have issued kill notices to clients to pull the image from their websites, from
Let's
publications.
cut to the chase. What I know we're not allowed to, goodness me, speculate or whatever, and because I don't do the online stuff, and I know there have been conspiracy theories flying left, right and centre from a lot of people. I woke up to the headline in The Sun looking great, Kate. This is before it broke,
yeah.
So a lot of the editors behind the 8 ball. But what are we saying? That this is merely going to fuel, let's cut to the chase and be honest, that because apparently we haven't seen her, because nobody knows what she's actually had, this could be a lot more. This was an attempt to say everything's fine with my children on Mother's Day. Big mistake, right? That's what we're talking about.
Big mistake. And actually it seems now that it was a big mistake to release the photograph in the first place. They've been sticking to the line that the Princess of Wales is recuperating at home with her family and that she's not going to be back to public duties until after Easter. They did release this photograph. Now, you could argue that they tend to release a photograph on Mother's Day every year, so they could say we're not playing into the hands of the conspiracy theorists. But because of the concerns about this image, and there are multiple areas in the photograph that have been picked up.
God, people have to be really clever, don't they? I mean,
But once you see it,
can you put it on screen? It's on screen.
Once you see it, you can't unsee it, if that makes sense.
Can I ask you a question? Would her arms be that wide to put round 2 kids?
And she's not, of course, wearing her engagement ring and wedding ring. That was the first thing that was picked up yesterday. Now you could say she's been for surgery. She will have had to take them off. Perhaps her fingers have swollen, or perhaps she's lost weight after the surgery and it doesn't fit. But then when you put everything together, there are areas of the image around Charlotte's sleeve, Louis's finger, for example. There's an area on Louis's jumper that has raised concern about whether or not there may have been some photoshopping on this image. And these photo agencies have very high standards about images that are not in their original form. And their concern is the image that they were provided with. And this is the problem. This is an image which Kensington Palace said to us yesterday was taken by Prince William at Windsor last week. It was then provided on their social media accounts and then sent out to news agencies. And those news agencies now questioning whether this is the true original image and ordering for it to be killed. And you know, this relentless speculation around her health, what's happened, where is she, is only going to get louder now by something that was actually designed to put a stop to it.
Of course, and she has the right to, you know, privacy about her health.
Quite rightly,
but understandably, she is a public figure, and people feel obliged to know not necessarily exactly what's going on, but to have a little bit more detail. But what is this going to do in terms of trust between Kensington Palace and the press?
Trust is a massive thing here, because you can only ignore the conspiracy theorists who exist in the kind of dark recesses of social media if you believe what you're being told by those in a position of authority. If you can't trust what you're being told by Kensington Palace, then the next statement that's put out
and why won't they respond? Why are they declining
Well,
to
this
comment?
happened about 10 o'clock last night.
Right.
They need to respond, and they need to respond quickly, because the longer this goes on, the worse it gets. They need to explain what has happened. Now, it may be just a pretty straightforward cock-up. here.
Yeah.
But, you know, we talk about cock-up or conspiracy. If it's a cock-up, unless they explain that, it is going to lead to more conspiracy theories.
There was talk, wasn't there? We were talking about this before. He took it. They're quite famous for doing that. Now they take photographs of each other. You know, we'll try and speak to Arthur Edwards if we can later. Very difficult. But, you know, people who have always taken those photographs. I know we have to be very careful. I understand that. I don't even know. We have this. I don't know what the conspiracy theories are. I'm not into all that. But you say it or fuel it. Do you think that there is more to this story than people are led to believe?
I have absolutely no idea, Jeremy. That's the problem. And we are, you know, I'm not one to believe conspiracy theories, but there is a big issue of trust. If Kensington Palace say that this was a photograph taken last week at Windsor by Prince William, then we take that on face value. When you then start to look at the image and when you have respected news agencies saying they're not happy that this is a true image, then there are some very serious questions for Kensington Palace to answer today. An explanation is needed because, you know, the public has a huge amount of interest in this. And much of it comes out of concern for the Princess of Wales. Some of it's much darker, let's be fair. But much of it comes out of concern. There was a lot of relief yesterday from people to see this image. But at the moment it was out, the theories were going wild already. So I think whatever they do, there was going to be that. But when you see it now on the front pages...
Yeah, they could never win, but they've certainly lost.
They've put it into the mainstream.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting when you said as well that you're right, Nick, she's entitled to her privacy despite the fact she's a public figure, but they chose to put the photograph out. And if they've put one out that's been doctored or isn't right, that just fuels it. We'd love to know what you think this morning.